Americans are paying their respects to former President Jimmy Carter. Of course, you'll know that he died last month at the age of 100 years old. The 39th president is lying in repose at the Carter Center before his remains are taken to the nation's capital, which will happen tomorrow. He will then lie in state. CBS News correspondent Skyler Henry is joining us now from Atlanta, Georgia, where long lines of mourners have been forming. Skyler, describe the atmosphere there at the Carter Center from the people who've come to pay their respects.
Yeah, Vlad, we were here on Saturday during the first service as part of this state funeral, and lines of people filled throughout the Carter Center, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the motorcade of the 39th president. Today, we see more people coming to pay their respects, as you see there on the screen. This is one of those things that's open to the public, and it will be up until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And so people have brought their families, children, all to come say their goodbyes to a man who meant so much to the state of Georgia. And, you know, that is really what we have seen and heard from so many who we've spoken with since we've been here in the hours following the announcement of President Carter's passing, in that so many have come to say that what he was able to accomplish in his second act, what he was able to do following his time in the White House, is really what they have grown to champion. And that's everything from his humanitarian work across the globe to the work that he did right there in Plains. And, you know, a lot of folks say that they like to just go talk to Mr. Jimmy, whether that at the dollar store or there at the Maranatha Baptist Church there in Plains. And so a lot of people say that, yes, they are filled with grief, but also with pride, because they know that he did so much for so many people around the world.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Skyler. And so what do we expect over the next couple of hours? I know that people are still lining up there. And then what happens when he is transferred to Washington?
Yeah, so as I said, the public will have their opportunity to pay their respects up until tomorrow morning at around 6 o'clock. From there, the casket will be then taken to Washington, D.C. We anticipate there to be several stops along that route before he lies in state at the U.S. Capitol, one including some time in front of the U.S. Naval headquarters there near Washington, D.C., obviously signifying his time while serving in the Navy. There is also supposed to be a service there at the Capitol. We'll see if the snow has any sort of impacts there in Washington, D.C. in terms of any sort of delays as far as that process. But from there, he will lie in state until January 9th. That is when that state funeral will be at the National Cathedral in Washington, where we anticipate President Biden to deliver a eulogy. We also know that President-elect Donald Trump and other former presidents, other dignitaries will be in attendance to say their goodbyes as well.
All right, Skyler Henry for us in Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks, Skyler.